Hi, everyone. It's Ryann Lavinia, founder, CEO of FIBB, Aesthetic Laser Wellness Bar. And I'm here with my dear friend, Judy Kozlicki. So she is a dear friend. We'll kind of get into how we met, but also a business consultant, very important person, the VIP of FIBB. And so she has joined our team. We've been working together almost about 2 years now. As business owners, my husband and I, Mark, have again become dear friends with her. And we call her with a lot of questions and bouncing off. And so I'm just here to introduce her, and we're going to talk about her journey, her background. Her as a trailblazer in our industry in medical aesthetics. So we met at the WALK conference, the Women Leadership Conference that AmSpa puts on almost 2 years ago in 2023. And instantly we connected. So that was great. So just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself. I was instantly impressed when I met you because just your background, I couldn't soak up enough about how your experience. I mean, you were, just talking with you, and really within seconds, I knew I need her in my life because I just knew I needed help to keep growing and scaling the business. And so again, let's just talk about your years and years upon experience and where you started. So you can go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me and for the beautiful and, introduction to your audience, and that it is such a pleasure to work with you, Ryann and Mark.
Thank you. Yes,
and
Mr. FIBB.
And just the entire team. Really, it's just been a phenomenal journey that you've been on, and really, I know we're going to dive into that too. But
yes,
just to give you a little bit of my background, I've been in this industry for about 20 years now, and started at a single location medical spa that wound up being acquired by a large corporation. And this is all located in the Twin Cities, which is where I'm from. It was really a fun transition for me. I do have corporate background in sales and marketing and working with some large organizations. So kind of coming into a corporate environment wasn't, that challenging for me. It was exciting, the growth opportunity, and they used us as a beta or a model to actually grow and scale. And I basically had the good fortune of being moved into a corporate role. Basically within 6 months of our acquisition, I moved into the headquarters and was given the title of National Sales Manager and told, your house is on fire, go get it. My funny claim to fame is that I actually opened 13 locations in my first year.
And this is before med spas were really like a thing.
This is like
before
2010.
People talked about it.
Yeah, 2010. So our little med spa was, call it 2.5 providers, but we were doing very well and it was definitely on the rise. But we had lived and survived and grown through the early recession of 2008 and 2009. And then we're just like thriving. And so this company thought it was a good idea to get in this space. So yes, we were on the cusp of the whole med spa kind of explosion. I did wind up overseeing that scaling to 33 locations across 20 different states. So the learning process in that, especially being in multiple states, is the compliance and regulatory, environment in each state is very different. The hiring, how you can structure your business and relationships. But I was involved in the design of the space. I was involved with legal and compliance. I was involved with marketing. I helped hire just about every, provider that came on board because this was a traditional spa environment that wasn't used to talking to medical professionals. So I was very involved in that.
Right. It's like two worlds collide.
Very much so. And then, helped build like our whole onboarding and training system and that because it was a national brand. So really had an amazing experience. I feel so fortunate to have had that role. I definitely was given kind of the keys to go do it, figure it out. And we were flying the plane while we were still building it, which was unnerving, which I know you've experienced at times. It's like, we're growing so fast. How do we do all this? So that was fascinating. That's not the end of my operational career. I was kind of recruited into plastic surgery after that and worked with some plastic surgery, both solo and small group practices that were also looking to grow and scale. So for whatever reason, and I think there is truly, I have that entrepreneurial spirit that most owner operators have. That is my jam. I love working with people who want to grow businesses, grow something special. And of course, aesthetics is also a passion and my jam. And anybody who comes into this space, right, never wants to leave it. So I'm the same.
So I know anytime I ask you a question, you have an answer.
Because I've probably been there and done that.
Right. And so you articulate it in a way, and you understand it. We were having a conversation last night about just troubleshooting things. And it's like, you always have an answer. And yes, you've seen this before.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones that are feeling, that pressure, whether it's, employee development, culture, et cetera, on and on.
Yeah.
Organizational strategy, scaling, you always have an answer. So yeah, just extensive experience in multiple platforms and growing.
Yeah. Well, now with Skytale Group, of course, I work with multiple clients again across the country, which is again fun because it's on a national level. And I get to experience different different strategies, different markets, different team dynamics. But again, it's the ability to be able to use all those different experiences to say, ooh, yep, we've seen this before. Here's what I'd recommend. Here's what I've seen that kind of works or doesn't work. I'd much rather you learn from my mistakes way back when I was, doing it than, watched you do that and learn on your own. Like, let's avoid some of that time and expedite your growth. So.
Right. And that's where, as owners, it's like the wild, wild west, organizational structure and payroll, all the, compensation, provider compensation. There's just all these things as owners. And I think I felt alone, in the space until I, met you and we're able to talk about this stuff. So, from an owner perspective, and I have colleagues, which, a lot of them, because we've referred them to you too, but it's good to have, that soundboard.
Yeah.
I can call you and ask questions about things.
Yeah. Thank you. That's really one of my main intents, of why I chose to pursue consulting as kind of this culmination of my experience, is because I really, really enjoy educating, helping people learn, collaborating. Yes, we are a business consultant, so we deep dive and really make sure that your financials are tight, your operations are tight, and we look for ways to help you improve efficiencies and all of those things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to be your right-hand strategic advisor. I want to be your partner in this.
And Mark and I knew growing this, the medical background, yes, we have, but, as a business operator and running a tight ship and, being successful and being able to scale and grow, without a financial disaster, like a fractionated CFO too. And a lot of people don't know that that's, they're able to do that, like have an outside where they don't have to hire somebody that's full time. So I think that's a big thing for us. And then building our team. So you've been instrumental in helping grow because we want our employees to grow from within FIBB, and be able to be promoting and kind of role diversifying and that structure as organizational structure within FIBB you've helped us with too, and growing our team. For me, that means everything is growing, the people that are my right and left hand. And so that's, from that part of the business side. And then developing our providers. You've helped us with onboarding and training. And, let's talk about that a little bit, that there is a need for providers, as we're growing and scaling, for good providers, for people who, this aesthetic industry looks so appealing to so many people, but so many people don't know what it takes to get into it. And so you can kind of shed some light on that.
Well, what I love about what you've done, Ryan, and I really give you full credit of recognizing it, right? You recognized it as you're trying to hire and complete your team and build out your team. But you've built sort of a layered approach to skill level and created even compensation tiers related to skill level. That's not something that everyone does or thinks about. Everyone thinks that if I've had this many years, I should be making X, Y, Z. Well, is it really always relative to time, or is it more relative to how many procedures have you actually done? How many hours have you had your hands on that device?
Right.
And patients. And I think that's so critical. So, that as a starting point and really helping kind of define where people are at and being able to recognize that within them. I think you're here. You've got all of these things kind of covered, but now let's train you on these procedures and really developing that diversification, like you said, of each provider. Just gives them more tools in their tool belt.
Absolutely.
And I want to back up to say one thing, to key on what you said earlier is this is a people business. It's a relationship business. And your people are your brand. They're an extension of you and your brand. And so the more you invest in them, the better off your whole entire business will be. So I know it's a huge investment that you make
in time,
in particular in time. And time is money, the value of your time specifically, but also who you bring to the table for your team. It's really huge opportunities that you're providing, I see.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I do feel that, that our team is amazing, and the girls from, teaching didactic and anesthesia and all that, clinical and, on the educational side, I do see that there's a competency to it. And like you said, providing training for all our staff. But at the end of the day, I feel like we owe that to our patients, to make sure our providers are competent. Funny thing is I have, Botox bubbles in my forehead right now. Well, one of our newer providers, they all inject me. They all treat me because I want our patients to know that they treat me. And that's a big step in training, and they get all nervous, but it's, that's important because I'm like, if you can inject me, you can inject anybody, just about.
Right.
But I think that's where that competency level, and our providers know that when they're ready for the next thing, we're going to train, advanced lasers, Sculptra, doing, all these advanced trainings. But we have a timeline. We have KPIs we track, key performance indicators to help and invest in our providers so that they do grow. And I just think the industry owes that to patients to be able to provide that.
Not only do we owe it to our patients and just to have all those service opportunities and the different procedures to really, because again, I go back to way back when I first entered the med spa, one of the providers there, she's like, listen, it's not just injectables. It's not just laser. It is the trifecta, lasers, injectables, and great skincare, right? And it's those three, and it's always in combination that you're going to have your best results. So really educating our patients on all of those things, but empowering, again, your team members to be able to offer those services. Not only is it great for them, great for our patients, but by the way, it's great for your business.
For sure.
So if there are any business owners that, listen to your podcast or that, any similar med spa owners, service diversification is huge. This is how we really gain a lot. It's probably one of the biggest drivers of profitability because of the different cost of goods associated with different service types, right? And so when you get a healthy mix of services, you can really improve your margins.
Absolutely. And that's, speaking of the next topic is the wellness side, right? So kind of talk about predictions, where the med spa space is headed over the next 10 years. You hear all of these talking points about wellness, peptides. And we've been doing hormone replacement for 7+ years. A lot of people are just getting on board with it, integrating the peptides. We've been doing that. And so we will be talking about service mix at another later date too, which will be a fun topic to talk about. But as far as the medical, as far as Skytale and you guys advising and the predictions for 2025, 2026, what are you guys seeing?
Well, I think number one is that this wellness, regenerative medicine, et cetera, this approach is going to continue. Mm-hmm. And there's really a nice synergy of how it mixes with aesthetics. Like it's an internal, external. If you feel good, you look good. If you look good, you want to feel good. There's all those things. And I'm with you. Like I've been in practices offering bioidentical hormone replacement since 2010. Mm-hmm. So this part's not new to me. I used to be part of a practice that did medical weight loss. Back in the day, it was HCG. Mm-hmm. But, we have advancements. That's the beauty, again, of being in this industry, is that it's so innovative and there's always new technologies, new possibilities, and the peptides and regenerative approach That's to huge. Both aesthetics, because we have regenerative aesthetics now, right? By using PDGF or some of these things in conjunction, or exosomes in conjunction with our treatments, but also the internal, and whether it's hormones or weight loss or additional therapies that you can incorporate. I think that's the biggest trend that obviously the world has been seeing, but it's going to continue. It really is going to continue to grow.
Yeah. And then, on the lab side, biomarkers, and in the next 10 years, there's a lot of talk about which types of filler are going to work better in some patients,
right.
That metabolism or degradation of filler, and being able to establish those things. So we will always be on the forefront of those things. We won't always bring in the new, latest and greatest, but always being on, and that's evidence-based medicine. And that's right. where our practice really thrives. Our providers are very, well into what's happening, and not just on Instagram and, the social media aspect, because you can't always listen to everything. But,
right.
But that's where we lean on you too, to help guide us. What is the industry? What direction are we headed? What are the predictions? What's next?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the other thing to think about, and I think everybody in this industry has seen the growth and popularity of, call it, membership programs or loyalty programs, and the benefits of those. The trend in aesthetics definitely is that our demographic is getting younger. Yep. And our younger demographic really feels comfortable with monthly payments. They love that because they pay for everything that way. And we've done a lot of studies, like in-depth studies at Skytale, like into membership programs and the structure of them and the benefits of them. And while some business owners fear that there's too much discounting or things like that, we've actually learned that members, as part of a really strong membership program, spend 2 to 3 times as much as a non-member. Why? Because they're loyal.
Yeah.
They're loyal and they are committed to you. There is a little thing called girl math too.
Yes, absolutely. Our providers love to say that, our staff, to everybody.
I mean, is it not so true? But that's good, because it's like, if I'll date myself a little, like go back in the day. I remember this is just a fun tangent.
Yeah.
At the med spa that I started with, there was a patient who came in for injectables, and our injector was brilliant, and there was a lot of giggling going on in the room, and she was in there for a couple of hours, and she definitely did a full face, treatment and correction and all of that. When she came out to pay, she pulled out a brown grocery bag full of cash.
Oh,
yes. Why? She'd been stashing it away. Now, the fact that it was stacks of ones, I can't really comment on.
I remember that story.
But it was literally a full bag. And I was working the front desk. By the way, that is part of my story, right? I started at the front desk and I worked my way to COO.
It's amazing.
And now consultant. So yes, I'm kind of proud of that. And I say that on purpose to inspire all those of you in this industry that are working the front desk. It's a brilliant place to start.
It's the most important part of the business.
Yeah, it's where you learn. And again, you're a big part of growth and development in the brand of an organization. So at any rate, back to the lady with the cash. Why? Because she was hiding it from her husband. She didn't want him to know what she was going to spend. So nobody uses cash anymore, right? We just put it on Venmo or on our monthly bill and whatever on a different credit card, and away we go. So things have changed, but not so much.
Right. And so the beauty bank behind us. So we have that. And, I started originally, and you guys probably heard this for friends that were like, you need to tell me when I'm scheduled next and how much. And I was like, let's just break it down. And we started, back in 2018. My first, one of my practice managers was one of my first members, Dawn. And so it's a savings. I tell patients it's like a JCPenney's layaway.
It's a layaway plan.
Yeah.
Totally. I love calling it that. Yeah.
But they love it because they come in without their wallet, but they are. And there's another, lots of statistics that they're coming in more frequent. They're visiting your practice more. They're engaging in other services. But for us, it's really a results-driven, multimodality approach where, yes, the skin, hydrofacials, doing microneedling, doing BBLs, doing, moxies, lasers. And then, on the wellness side, we have patients that are doing the Vitality membership with the hormones. They do the Samoralin, the peptides, they get Emcella. They're taking advantage of all these extra services. And it's, yes, we are do promotional savings, but it's exclusive members. So they get access to those exclusive things that we offer, like our monthly specials. We do special things for members. We just really take care. And that's where I think the practice is having 1,200+ members at this point. It is a loyalty thing. And a patient today was telling the student, I won't see anybody else, or I don't go anywhere else. Patients get comfortable with their providers. Yes. And that's what we love about the industry. It's just like them going to see their primary care doctor. Everything. We're therapists, and we had a patient the other day who's crying. We are. And that's just part of who we are as a company.
1,000%. 1,000%. I do think they've always said that estheticians in particular, when someone's laying on their bed getting that beautiful treatment or whatever, and I call hydrofacial a really beautiful treatment. I love that thing. I don't care if it's like cat scratching, licking you.
Yeah.
I love it because it feels so good. But there's something about that downtime, like closing your eyes and you just open up. And you do have to be quite a bit of a therapist. That's part of that relationship building and getting to know them and creating a safe space so that they can get comfortable for the next time that you see them when you want to do a CO2 on them.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Or erbium, contour TRL. Yes. But so let's talk a little bit about also women.
Yes.
So I have a lot of friends that are women business owners. Locally and on a national scale. And like yourself, you're very successful. You're a CEO, or you were a CEO.
I love that term.
And my sister-in-law calls me that. So she's, And it's cool because my nieces, having 3 boys, my nieces now, one of them is interested in this, and just had a talk with her about PA school, what she needs to do, become a medical assistant, getting her hours. And she's like, I want to be a CEO, so it's just a cool term.
Yeah.
And so you've helped me develop as CEO because I can't, all this personal development, and you hear this from all of us that you help. Personal development is such a key too, because being a leader really makes you look at yourself and what the goods and the bads are, and learning patience and all of the things that you've helped me become a better leader. And that's been a huge part of what you've, helped us, as a corporation too. I know I'm going to get teary-eyed, but again, I just thank you so much for all you do. And we are back to the CEO thing. We have some good things in the works for something special coming out for those of you who need help and support and, the guidance and just.
Yeah, I think our industry can and is often about collaboration, right? And just sharing of experiences, I think, is what can help people grow. And hearing somebody else went through XYZ, this is about both personal development as well as professional development, as you were saying. And by the way, as a business owner, like, you have a lot to balance. You are also a mom and a wife, right? This is a really big undertaking to own your business and to be that that guiding, this is your vision, it's your baby, just as much as you have 3 other babies, right?
Right.
And I think the support system that we can offer each other, especially as women business leaders, doesn't have to be owners in this, what we're developing, but leaders in general. That's kind of our next wave, I think. Like, we need to lean on each other.
Absolutely. And that's, as we have scaled and grown, the ups and downs of being, a growing company, a scaling company.
It can get messy.
Yeah. Very messy.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And, the growth and that, that leads back to, I know you've given other advice, and I get phone calls a lot too about, I lost a provider, I lost this, I lost an esthetician, the changes we're making, they don't like. And I think and a lot of, women are starting, med spa spaces are talking about this, this industry is growing, but every business owner, I have this vision, and we've had this vision. Mark and I have this vision for where we're going to take it. Not everybody, all our employees know all of those things. Right. And so as we scale and grow, that's a big part of, the employee part of it, and building our culture and making sure that our providers are getting what they need and getting access to, growing, and just on a, daily basis, coming to work and loving where they are. But not everybody, we've gone through some employees that we have lost.
Right.
And, you guys are there to guide us and help us with that as well.
You do really have to focus on hiring people with a growth mentality. I think we talked about this last night, right? Sometimes change either energizes people or it can paralyze people. And it's probably best we find that out in the hiring process, right? Before they're on board, because you are a growth organization. I mean, Ryann, you're opening location 4 very soon.
Right.
And it's been incredible. And, what I see anytime I'm here and with you and your team is that everybody loves being here and they want to grow with you and they support you. So that's key, right? Finding the right people to be on your team and then helping build them within that. And so they can really, truly feel like part of your growth as well.
Right, because we're all in this together. Well, thank you so much, Judy. That was great.
Yes.
For more information, you can follow, and share us on all social media platforms. Do you fib? I fib. You should fib too.